We'd like to go on to the Q&A session. We will have translation services, so you can ask either in Japanese or English. So please raise your hand if you have any questions. Thank you. Yes, then. Shall we go on to the gentleman in the front row, please? And please bring the microphone to the gentleman in the front row, sitting in the center of the room. Please bring the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Satoru Kikuchi from SMBC Nikko Securities.
I'd like to ask in Japanese, if I may. I'd like to ask in Japanese. So you signed this partnership with NTT, and also NTT and Dell. You chose NTT and Dell. Can you talk about the process based on which you chose these two? What led you to choose these two partners? Can you share with us this whole journey? What was the starting point? What was the competition? And what was the comparison you made based on which you decided to select NTT and Dell as your best partner? I would appreciate your elaborating on that. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you for the question. In today's world, it's about openness and connectivity. NTT has one deciding factor that many other companies do not have. With NTT and the Dell relationship, we own the data. The city owns the data. Other companies they own the data, and we're not able to have full access to it. That is very important to us. We must have transparency among the citizenry. We must be able to own that data because we want to be able to monetize it at some point and use it. If we give it away, we lose that opportunity. That would be the overriding factor. But there's one more important factor, and I really believe it stems to the relationship. It's the relationship I have with the sales team. It's the relationship I have with the executive management team. It's a relationship of trust. It's a relationship of integrity. When you're doing systems like this, when you have vehicles that are depending on data flow, you want a company that's a full service umbrella. And NTT provides so many parts. While I look at it as one NTT, there's expertise in many different layers within the company that other companies can't compete with. I will tell you this, do we look at only using one? No. One of the nice things about NTT, it's an open platform. I can use sensors from other systems and bring that data into the NTT platform. Again, very unique, very agile, flexible in its offerings. And it has a rock solid team of individuals behind it. And that gives us confidence that we know that they're going to be there in the long term.
Thank you. One follow-up question. NTT is headquartered in Japan. NTT is headquartered in Japan. Why did you go out to a Japanese group company to handle this public sort of operations and business? But letting a Japanese, was that not problematic for Las Vegas to leave everything to a Japanese company?
It's a global world. It's big. I love Japan, but that's not the only, the reason it's a global world. And so Japan is a great partner with America. So I don't look at the ocean as a barrier, or I look at their solution as the right solution. And that's why we chose them. I don't know how else to answer your question. I don't look at it the way you propose it. I don't see things that way. I look at what's the best solution out there, no matter where it is. In this case right now, I believe NTT to have the superior solution.
Thank you very much.
Yes, the next question, please. Yes, well, the person at the center in the third row. Masuno from Nomura Securities, and I do have one question. In the city of Las Vegas, and taking the role model, and then from different cities where there are many inquiries, and also there are the requests for information, and that's what you have told us. And so, what are the priorities or the areas where the other cities are interested in, and what would be the potential or sort of the interest? And also, I think the state is also involved, and from the city level to the state level, well, how are you really seeing this expansion of this kind of relationship? So these are the two questions I'd like to address you.
Thank you for the question. Let me see if I can address both questions. I'll start with the easier one first. I believe in America that you'll have a smart country, but it won't stop there. Data will be a smart world where I'll be connected and share information amongst all of them. If we look at it in the way you've described in the state level, right now Las Vegas is taking a leadership role. We like that leadership role. It's kind of what our city is founded upon. Las Vegas is an innovator in dining and entertainment. We would like to diversify our economy and be a leader in innovation. There's a city to the west of us called San Jose. We would like a lot of the technology companies to relocate from San Jose to Las Vegas. But the main point of that being is that we really believe that data is the key to the future. Cities that harness data will be the future cities that are prosperous. We're doing our very best internally to work with our partner cities that are next to us and trying to help them understand and see the light, as you would say, or see the opportunities that data provides. Not all of them are getting it yet, but they will. Like the chart you saw earlier, it's that curve up. More and more cities will continue to go this route. It's the only way to efficiency, and it's the only way to provide the services of the future. So in that regard, Las Vegas will continue its leadership pace and role in harnessing data and collecting it. I think the first part of your question was about the data itself and storing that. I've been to Congress. We have basically the Senate in Nevada, and talked about open data and talked about data rights. Citizens are very concerned. This is one of the challenges that cities have, is we have this data. How are we going to use it? How are we going to share it? So we're working through those issues. But eventually, I would look at it this way, and it's a very stark example for you. Back in the horse and buggy days, when the car first came out, there were lots of people that said, the car, no car. Today, I don't think anyone in this room would want a horse and buggy over a car. It takes time, though, for change to mature and to take hold. And so with data, people will become more comfortable as we collect it and they see the benefits. I hope that addresses your questions.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Then we'd like to go on to the gentleman in the second row, please. Thank you very much. Goldman Sachs, Matsuhashi is my name. I would like to ask two questions, if I may, sir. My first question. Well, Las Vegas City. Well, I'm not sure if you have the term IT budget for City of Las Vegas, but the amount of budget that you're responsible for, Mr. Sherwood, what is the amount of budget you have for IT for the City of Las Vegas? And also going forward, do you believe, going forward, do you think that the budget available for IT will expand going forward? That's my first question.
For you. So as a director, I hope I know the budget, or else I probably won't have a job when I return to Las Vegas. $30 million is the annual spend in Las Vegas. A lot of what we're looking at doing, though, you're really looking at a new way of allocating capital. What we're doing is saving and becoming more efficient in other areas of technology. We're taking those savings and investing, just like an investor would invest in a company. We're investing in IoT. We believe the payback, the efficiency that we will receive over the next several years by employing these technologies will well be worth the investment, if not double the payback, because we'll have the ability to do things with less people.
I see. So $30 million, you mentioned $30 million. So out of the $30 million budget, do you believe that this amount will expand going forward? For example, yes, thank you, if you could respond.
Sorry, I did not give you the second half of your question. Yes, I believe it will expand. I believe most likely the budget will probably continue to move upward over the next several years. That's primarily because as other departments, so think of the City of Las Vegas has 22 operating departments, police, fire, all these different departments. They're all using technology today. As we roll out smart city and connected technology, they're going to be more dependent. So I tell a lot of the people that I work with, my fellow directors and the executive level, 4 or 5 years ago, technology was nice to have. Today, cities are technology dependent. And when we start putting out these solutions, these connected city solutions, these smart solutions, we're going to be more dependent on technology. And a lot of what we're doing now is trying to do more with less. Hire less people in the future, but have good data and decision-making information coming back. And you can only do that by investing in this technology. And that's why I think you look at the IoT market in general, and the projections are so high. And I would say don't limit it just to governmental. I think Swada-san talked in the very beginning. There's smart hospital, there's smart campus, there's smart state. There's a huge array of bringing all this data together. And I really think what you're looking at, if I can use the oil rig as an example, all those are different oil rigs bringing up oil. What NTT does is it refines it into like gasoline, where it's even a more highly prized product at the end, giving us strong decision-making power. And that is going to have departments invest more in technology.
Right.
Yes, thank you very much. My second question is this. Earlier, you talked about the future, and you talked about the term monetization. You used the term monetization. Well, I'm not sure whether I understand the prevailing consensus here in Japan, but when public sector talks about monetizing, that's a very unique concept. It's a very unique comment coming out from someone in the public sector, monetization. So do you mean selling data to a private sector company? What do you mean when you talk about monetization? And is it okay to monetize in the US context?
That's a very good question and a very hard question at the same time. Let me take it and break it into two parts. People in America pay taxes to the government. They don't want to pay for the data. They should have that data open. So we have a large open data initiative where we provide data openly. So as we collect data from sensors, we provide it openly. What we're looking at in the future, and what I'm driving, this is my initiative, is to start monetizing where we can, where it's new areas. So let me give you an example. You saw the autonomous vehicle in the slide. In the future, when vehicles become completely autonomous, there's going to be something that's very limited in cities, which is curb space. Think about Amazon, UPS, different delivery companies, all delivering packages and services autonomously to your home. How is that going to happen? You're going to have 100 delivery vehicles stacked up at your house trying to drop off all the different things you've ordered. What we believe is we can partner with companies like NTT and start working on what we consider curb monetization. Curb monetization would use cameras to look at the curb in real time, provide that out openly into the open world for free, so we could develop apps and so forth. But a company like an Amazon might park at the curb. We would get their license plate and be able to bill them for 5 minutes of use. So think of it as a newer way of parking meter, but where we're using it to drive a revenue for an asset that we own and that people currently pay for today. There's lots of examples like that that would give you the opportunity to, again, we're in government, we're here for the people. I mean, that's for us in Las Vegas. I'm here for the people. I'm not here to make new revenue streams. But if I can develop solutions that companies value and are willing to pay for, then we should develop those. We should use them. And we're working on that. That's part of some of the solutions that we believe in the future will separate our city from other cities and will draw business in. Business will be more than willing to pay if they have that type of service.
Thank you. So any other questions? Yes, well, the person in the second row from the front, please. So Ijima from Q Research, and I have two questions. The first question, well, this time around, the initiative adopted by the Las Vegas and in the entire U.S. What is the sort of the positioning? And probably, my question sound odd. Is this the most advanced initiative inside the United States, or is it more of the average level initiative? And so, in terms of the adoption of information technology, how advanced you are? And so that's the very first part of my question. And the second question, in terms of the method as a local government. And you are partnering with NTT and to build a system. And that's one way to look at it. On the other hand, a country like China, and they are to build the system in a top-down way and to introduce the ICT. And there are two ways of doing that. And so the local versus national government. And which one of that do you think is more efficient? Is it more efficient to be being taken initiative by the local government or by the national government?
Again, a very good question and very difficult to answer. I'll start with the first one, and I might be biased. We believe Las Vegas is #1 in smart communities, and we partnered with the #1 solution provider in the world in smart city technology. So I would say we are forward thinking, but there are many cities that are catching up to us. NTT is not only going to sell to us, they're going to sell to everybody. So we'll be on a level playing field, and that's okay, because it's really, again, about the data. So it's all about having access to the data, which is most important. But I would like to think Las Vegas will still be the forward-thinking city that it always has been, and will continue to be that leader. It's just the amount of lead we have is even in the last 2 years, has been decreasing. As far as how to build a system top down or from the bottom up and who should control it, you're asking a local government leader. I will tell you that agile being at the municipal level, which is the lowest level, is the best solution. And again, I could be biased because I don't want to be replaced by a state level type system. But I think when you really look at the data, which is what, again, I want to focus on, when you have data at a local level and you have people that really understand the data, you can get more from it and you can make better decisions from it. When you start from a top down and you have somebody across the ocean or across wherever they might be, but far removed from where the data is actually coming from, I think they're going to have a very hard time being able to draw real substantial conclusions from that data. And again, that's kind of why we're very happy working with NTT, because we own the data outright. NTT creates the system. We have the knowledge internally to basically render and look at the data and make the right outcomes. But we will share. We will share. The state in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the governor, they'll take our data, but they might use it in other areas for their benefit. We'll use it at the local level to affect traffic change and to do things that really are from a local level. But I think if we look at it, and I know this is confusing, I think having standards across the entire state and across the world will become important at some point. So sometimes that top down by developing standards is very important. Where at the municipal level, we're focused on only us.
Thank you. As we are pressed for time, this will have to be the final question. So the next question will have to be the final question. So we'd like to turn to you, sir, in the white shirt, please. Thank you. Thank you. Moriyuki from SMBC Securities. Thank you very much. I would like to touch upon data. So the city has the data. The city owns the data. So will NTT be able to use that data and deliver services in other areas? Is that a possibility? Is that even a possibility? So what is going to be the usage of the data between yourselves and NTT? That's my first question. And the second question. So again, you mentioned that the biggest difference was that you were able to own the data. Then in the case of other companies' services, when you wanted to use the data, what was the situation with other companies? Did you have to pay additional premium? Was there black box? So what's the difference between services rendered by NTT and non-NTT? So can you talk about the difference in data ownership? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. right now, NTT does not own the data. The city of Las Vegas owns the data. If NTT comes to us and would request data, we would have to negotiate that and work that out and work with them. I don't think that's the direction they want. They're building the platform of the future, the analytics behind it, which I believe is a better model. It's the more efficient model, allowing the cities to harness the data and refine it as we see fit. NTT providing the apparatus to make that happen. Other companies, I think you were spot on when you asked about the other companies. I wouldn't call it a black box, but what I would say is that if I wanted to make changes to the data model or the methodologies, there was a charge for that. There was always an additional fee. Some of these systems are cloud-based, so one of the problems could be if that sensor company no longer is in operation, the data goes away. I don't have access to it. I can pull it while they're in business. I can connect to the data and bring it and use it. But again, owning the data and having access to the data is very critical. It's oil, it's gold, it's your most precious resource that a city will have in the future. And so owning it and having it available is key.
Thank you. Well then, we would like to close the Q&A session. Thank you.